For out of every 10 vitamin bottles sitting in American homes right now contains something different from what the label promises. Not slightly different, completely different. You might be swallowing ingredients your stomach acid destroys before they reach your bloodstream, compounds that bear no resemblance to what's printed on the package, or sugar levels so extreme they belong next to the Halloween candy. One brand we'll discuss today was forcibly shut down by federal court order. Another paid $30 million for fabricating clinical studies. A third is selling you an entirely different chemical compound while charging premium prices for the one you actually need. I'm going to walk you through 5 vitamin brands that have built empires on deception, and then I'll reveal the 3 brands that doctors, nutritionists, and Olympic athletes actually trust with their health. By the time you finish reading this, your medicine cabinet will never look the same. The federal shutdown. Balance of Nature appeared in millions of homes, wearing the mask of wholesome simplicity. Green and white bottles. Smiling families in advertisements. A name that sounded like something your grandmother would approve of without hesitation. For 15 years, they sold a seductive promise. Real nutrition from 30 different fruits and vegetables, dried into powder and packed into convenient capsules. No meal preparation. No cooking. Just swallow and skip the difficult part, eating healthy. Americans spent $89 monthly for this convenience. The price felt justified when you believed you were giving your body concentrated whole food nutrition. Then something extraordinary happened. The Department of Justice and the FDA didn't send a warning letter. They didn't request voluntary corrections. They obtained a permanent injunction and shut down the entire operation. Manufacturing facilities locked. Shipping operations frozen. This is the nuclear option regulators reserve for companies so dangerous they cannot be trusted to reform themselves. Federal investigators discovered production facilities they described as unsanitary. They found capsules that didn't contain what the labels claimed. They documented disease treatment promises with zero clinical evidence. The documentation was so inadequate that inspectors couldn't verify what was actually inside the bottles being shipped to trusting customers across the country. But the truly disturbing part goes deeper than regulatory violations. Balance of Nature knew their powder couldn't deliver genuine nutrition. When you dry and grind fruits, you destroy most vitamins on contact. Without pharmaceutical-grade extraction processes, the expensive kind that cuts into profit margins, you're left with oxidized fiber, dead plant matter in a capsule. Consider what happens to vitamin C the moment you slice an orange. It begins degrading immediately upon exposure to air. Now imagine grinding that orange into fine powder, eating it during processing, packaging it, shipping it across the country, and letting it sit on warehouse shelves for months. What remains isn't nutrition. It's the ghost of nutrition. Balance of Nature charged $89 monthly for that ghost. They never published absorption studies proving the powder survived your digestive system. They never provided third-party potency verification. They never demonstrated that anything biologically active reached your bloodstream. The advertising worked without proof. The testimonials sold themselves. And because the FDA doesn't approve supplements before they reach store shelves, companies operate on an honor system. Balance of Nature exploited that regulatory gap for 15 years while building a customer base of millions. Seniors took these capsules hoping to strengthen their immune systems. Parents gave them to children who refused vegetables. Health-conscious adults chose them because natural felt inherently safer than synthetic alternatives. They all paid premium prices for a product that couldn't pass federal inspection when regulators finally looked inside. The memory pill that remembers nothing. Prevagen arrived in a purple box with a glowing brain graphic that promised something millions of people desperately wanted: protection against memory loss. This wasn't marketed as just another supplement. It was sold as hope to everyone terrified of forgetting their children's names, misplacing car keys for the 3rd time that week, or slowly losing the mental sharpness that defined their identity. $40 monthly felt reasonable for that kind of protection. Millions of seniors purchased it. Adult children bought it for aging parents, showing early signs of decline. Spouses bought it for partners who kept forgetting important dates and conversations. The marketing was brilliant because it targeted genuine fear with a scientific-sounding solution. Then the Federal Trade Commission examine the actual evidence. In 2024, a federal court ordered Quincy Bioscience, Prevagen's manufacturer, to remove every single advertising claim about memory improvement, not modify them, not soften the language, remove them completely. The reason was stark. Their own clinical trial, the only human study they ever conducted, showed zero improvement in memory function. Not small improvement, not modest results. Zero, not one memory test showed measurable change. The numbers didn't budge. The science said nothing worked. The marketing said miracle. Here's everything you need to understand about the science behind Prevagen. The active ingredient is apoacorn, a protein derived from jellyfish. When you swallow this protein, your stomach acid immediately breaks it down into amino acids. Your digestive system treats jellyfish protein identically to how it processes chicken, beef, or eggs. It gets dismantled into component parts and distributed throughout your body like any other dietary protein. There's no special pathway to your brain, no VIP access through the blood-brain barrier. The protein gets digested like lunch and utilized like lunch. You're paying $40 monthly for something your body processes like a snack. You get equivalent amino acids from scrambled eggs for about 50 cents. But the financial loss isn't the real tragedy here. The genuine damage is the waste of time. Every month spent trusting Prevagen was a month not spent visiting a neurologist, a month not invested in proven cognitive exercises, a month when early warning signs of serious conditions could have been caught and addressed while treatment options remained available. Memory decline progresses gradually. Early detection creates opportunities for intervention that can genuinely change outcomes. While families place their faith in a purple box with a glowing brain graphic, real opportunities for meaningful medical intervention slipped away unnoticed. Prevagen didn't just take money from vulnerable people. It consumed time that families cannot recover. The company knew their clinical trial demonstrated nothing. They maintained the advertising campaigns anyway. They continued charging $40 monthly. They kept displaying glowing brain graphics to frighten seniors who simply wanted to remember their grandchildren's faces long enough to recognize them at family gatherings. For every daughter who purchased this hope and preserve her mother's mind, you bought a promise that dissolved in stomach acid before reaching its destination. For every husband seeking to help his wife remember, you received marketing disguised as medicine. For any senior who spent years believing that purple box, those years mattered infinitely more than the money. The cold prevention con. Airborne dominated American pharmacy shelves in bright orange tubes that promised a simple solution. One fizzy tablet dissolved in water could stop a cold before symptoms appeared. The product was everywhere. Airport kiosk displays, pharmacy checkout lanes, office desks during winter months. Teachers swore it kept them healthy through flu season. Frequent travelers packed tubes in carry-on bags. Parents dissolved tablets for children at the first hint of sniffles. $12 per tube for peace of mind seemed reasonable. Then the Federal Trade Commission seized $30 million back. In 2008, Airborne settled charges for making health claims without credible evidence. No legitimate studies proved their tablets prevented colds. $30 million in customer refunds and regulatory penalties. Most companies would vanish after that magnitude of public scandal and financial penalty. Airborne did something worse. They kept selling and cheapened the formula, while customers continued trusting the brand name. Zinc, the only ingredient with actual clinical evidence supporting immune function, got reduced. Why would they cut the one ingredient that might actually work? It caused bitter aftertaste. Customer complaints about flavor increased. So instead of improving the taste while maintaining zinc levels, they simply reduced the zinc content. Then the filler ingredients increased proportionally. More citric acid to maintain that impressive fizzy performance on store shelves. More binding agents to reduce manufacturing costs. More artificial ingredients to make the dissolving process look visually impressive. The formula degraded every year. The price remained unchanged. A former quality control manager later admitted the truth in a deposition. We were instructed to prioritize flavor consistency over clinical consistency. If it tasted fresh and looked impressive, it would sell. That single sentence explains the entire business model. Airborne spent 5 times more money on advertising than on formulation research. 5 times. The commercial showed happy teachers maintaining perfect health through cold season. The laboratory showed a product being systematically hollowed out to maximize profit margins. Open a tube right now if you have one. Drop a tablet into water. Watch it fizz energetically. Bright orange and visually impressive. That fizz is pure theater. It's a citric acid performance. An illusion of chemical activity that looks like something beneficial is happening. What's actually not happening is immune support. The zinc that might have provided minimal benefit has been reduced to homeopathic levels. The vitamin C content is less than you get from half an orange. The herbal ingredients are underdosed and clinically unproven. $30 million in penalties in 2008. Still on shelves in 2026. Still $12 per tube. The only element that changed was the formula itself, and not for the better. The ingredient swap. Naturello built its reputation on gentle aesthetics. Soft green labels. The words plant-based displayed in calming fonts. Visual branding that looked like it belonged in a yoga studio rather than a courtroom. The company marketed magnesium glycinate, specifically the gentle form doctors recommend for patients with sensitive digestive systems. This is the compound people take for sleep improvement, muscle cramp relief, and anxiety reduction. $30 per bottle for Calm in capsule form. Thousands of health-conscious consumers switched to Naturello because it appeared cleaner than mass-market alternatives. No synthetic dyes. No harsh chemical additives. Just gentle minerals from a company whose marketing suggested genuine care about customer well-being. Then independent laboratory testing revealed what was actually inside the capsules. In 2024, a class action lawsuit made a stunning accusation. Naturello's magnesium glycinate capsules contain predominantly magnesium citrate instead. This might sound like a minor technical difference. It's absolutely not. Glycinate is a gentle form. It absorbs slowly through your intestinal walls. It calms nervous system activity. That's precisely why people pay premium prices for it specifically. Citrate is acidic. It absorbs rapidly. It pulls water into your intestines. That's why it's the primary ingredient in over-the-counter laxatives. One compound calms your nervous system. The other flushes your digestive system. Customers reported concerning symptoms for months before anyone conducted independent testing. Bloating, stomach irritation, urgent bathroom trips after taking their supposedly calming supplement. They blamed themselves for these reactions. Maybe their bodies were unusually sensitive. Maybe they needed to take it with food instead of on an empty stomach. They didn't need to change anything about their routine. They needed a refund for a mislabeled product. How does this kind of substitution happen? Raw material suppliers looking to cut costs mix cheaper compounds and sell them under premium ingredient codes. Internal verification processes. The quality control steps that should catch these substitutions get skipped when production scales faster than oversight can maintain pace. The focus shifts from accuracy to availability. Purity becomes an operational inconvenience rather than a non-negotiable standard. For everyone who took Naturello every evening hoping for better sleep, you were taking a laxative and wondering why you felt worse instead of calmer. For anyone with a sensitive stomach who chose this brand specifically for its gentleness, you chose the label's promise rather than the capsule's contents. For everyone who trusted that plant-based meant pure and accurate, you trusted a color palette rather than a laboratory analysis. The candy masquerading as medicine. Ollie doesn't look like traditional vitamins. The gummies are soft, glossy, and arranged in pastel colors that look like they belong in an upscale candy boutique. Lavender for calm. Sunshine yellow for energy. Soft pink for beauty. Gentle blue for sleep. The jars photograph beautifully on bathroom shelves, which is entirely intentional. Ollie doesn't sell vitamins. They sell aesthetic wellness. $15 for a jar of gummies your children will actually beg to take. Finally, a supplement that doesn't feel like a daily chore. No pills to choke down with water. No bitter aftertaste making you gag. Just chew, smile, and believe you accomplished something healthy. Then multiple lawsuits revealed what those pretty labels concealed. In 2024, several class action complaints accused Ollie of selling gummies that didn't match their labeled potency claims. The vitamins inside didn't add up to what the bottle promised. You paid for 100%. You received substantially less. But potency discrepancies aren't even the primary problem. Open any jar and smell it. That sweet, intensely fruity scent isn't vitamins. That's sugar, artificial flavoring, and citric acid engineered to trigger the same reward pathways in your brain that respond to actual candy. Examine the nutrition label carefully. 2 gummies contain 2 to 4 grams of sugar. Take the recommended daily dose consistently, and you're adding the sugar equivalent of a full candy bar to your weekly intake. For children taking multiple Ollie products simultaneously, the sugar accumulates rapidly, more sugar per serving than actual vitamins per serving. That's not a nutritional supplement. That's dessert with a health halo. Ollie invested more resources in hiring designers and doctors, more money spent on color palettes than clinical testing, more budget allocated to Instagram aesthetics than independent laboratory verification. Their marketing team built a beautiful brand. Their science team, if one exists at all, got systematically ignored. And they knew exactly who to target with this approach. Ollie's marketing isn't designed for adults making informed nutritional choices. It's engineered for children who see candy and parents who want the path of least resistance. The pastel colors, the fun product names, the gummy format. Everything about this brand is calculated to make children ask for it persistently and make parents feel good about saying yes. That's not wellness. That's psychological manipulation with a vitamin label providing social permission. The brands doctors actually trust. Thorne doesn't try to impress you with packaging. No pastel jars. No glowing graphics. No celebrity endorsements. Just plain white bottles with small black text listing ingredients. While Ollie hired designers, Thorne hired research scientists. While Prevagen fabricated studies, Thorne published legitimate peer-reviewed research. While Balance of Nature failed federal inspections, Thorne passed NSF Certified for Sport, the strictest supplement certification in the world. That certification means every single batch gets tested for purity, potency, and banned substances. The same verification standard Olympic athletes trust. The same testing protocol used by professional sports organizations, university hospitals, and military programs. You don't earn that certification through marketing budgets. You earn it by proving what's inside matches what's on the label. Every time, every batch, without exception. Pure Encapsulations looks almost clinical because it is. Founded in 1991 with a mission that sounded unmarketable. Science without additives. While other brands race to make vitamins taste better and photograph prettier, Pure Encapsulations removed everything unnecessary. No artificial sweeteners. No preservatives. No gluten, dairy, or soy. Even the capsules themselves are hypoallergenic, designed specifically for patients whose bodies react to common fillers. Every batch is produced in NSF GMP-certified facilities, following the same standards as pharmaceutical drug manufacturers. Independent laboratories test finished capsules for allergens, contaminants, and potency. Every result gets logged and remains accessible for verification. Ritual built their entire brand on one radical idea. Nothing to hide. Their capsules are transparent. You can literally see golden oil beads floating inside like captured sunlight. That's not aesthetic accident. That's philosophy made visible. Every ingredient is traceable. Every supplier is publicly listed. Every clinical study is linked on their website. You can see exactly where your capsule's content originated, how they were tested, and what research supports the specific dosage. The delayed release capsule dissolves in your intestine rather than your stomach, so nutrients absorb gradually instead of getting destroyed by stomach acid. Third-party tested for heavy metals. Certified vegan. Non-GMO. Even the packaging uses recycled materials. Your morning vitamin should be medicine, not marketing. The difference between these 3 brands and the 5 we exposed isn't subtle. It's the difference between companies that invest in laboratories and companies that invest in Instagram aesthetics. Between brands that earn certifications and brands that earn federal injunctions. Between supplements that work and supplements that work as advertising props. Check your cabinet right now. Read beyond the label's promises. Look for the certifications that matter. Your health deserves better than pretty bottles filled with broken promises.